Scarefest Radio is sponsored by Spirit Mechanics. For your spiritual health and well-being, find them on Facebook. MECHANIX. And by Coyote Chris Sutton, bringing light to the darkest places. CoyoteChris.com.
The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Radio. The original broadcast date is December 14th, 2018. It's Christmas, everybody. It's Christmas, and for Christmas, we are just absolutely top-loading Scarefest Radio so much that there is just no way we're going to be able to follow it up, so the first of the year is going to suck. I just know it. If you're watching tonight and you notice that my right eye is a little swollen tonight, basically, here, apparently the answer when your wife asks you, do these jeans make my ass look big, is not yes. I'm just going to throw that out there. First half of the show, we have Alex Vincent on with us. Brandon Griffith is my co-host tonight. He won't be on camera at least till the second half of the show because Skype has done some kind of update and dicked everything up again. So I do want to put that out there and let you know. Second half of the show, though, we will have, right after the half-hour mark, a celebrity announcement for Scarefest 2019, Scarefest XII, Scarefest 12. So, got all that going on. We are giving away, after the half-hour mark, we have a priority pass to Louisville, Lights Under Louisville. So if you're in the Louisville area, we have a carload pass for you that even has line skip. That's what priority means. Ain't that cool? So, everybody, our guest night is, of course, Alex Vincent. You know him from the Child's Play franchise of movies. And, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Everybody, I'm really tickled to have Alex on with us. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Child's Play, everybody, and I'll try to watch the chat rooms if you have a question. But Alex has made the transition from child star to actual professional type person with his own audio engineering recording studio, and that we want to concentrate on that. And everybody, he's going to be doing a podcast, which is kind of like, because he's an audio engineer, that's like quirking the bat, dude. That is just like totally unfair to people like me that do it in their attic. So let's get right on it. Of course, now, first thing I wanted to ask you, now, Child's Play, iconic horror series of movies, well established, very, very popular. You did the first one in, I believe it was 1988. You were like, what were you, like 5 years old? No, you were older than 5. How old were you?
We filmed it in 1987. I was 6.
Okay. Well, I wasn't far off.
Yeah. No, you were close.
Now, one thing that caught me, because I watched them fairly close together to refresh my memory, part 1 and part 2, 2 years difference in the movies. You didn't look like you aged a freaking day between the two. Did you have like that Gary Coleman thing going on, or was it a Lord of the Rings type deal where they just went ahead and filmed them all at one time, or just really good makeup?
No, it was 2 years later. We filmed the second one in 1989. I don't know. It's funny you say that. I don't know. I feel like I looked older. I definitely spoke older. You know, the first one, everything, I was 6 years old, so everything was still in syllables, you know, Mommy, Chucky's gone, you know, and when then that between 6 and 8 years old, you start forming sentences better, which I guess led for better delivery.
I can tell you from the casual view, for the casual viewer, that little thing that you grew up, you had to grow your ass up a whole lot in that first movie. So any differences in linguistics, I would attribute to this kid's been through more than I've been through in my whole life. Then after that, I'm thinking the next one that, now I'm not saying it's the next necessarily movie you made, but it was 15 years before they brought you back to the franchise, roughly, right?
It's longer than that. Let's see, 1989 until 2012, 2013. I forget when we did Curse. Was it 2012 or 2013? So, no, you're talking like 22, 23 years.
Oh gosh.
Quick math. Something like that. Yeah, I was 6 years old in the first film, and I was 8 in the second, and I was 32. So 24 years. I was 32 in part.
Now, what I wanted to ask you was, not being an actor, just being a random guy on the internet, what did it feel natural? Because I mean, I do know you did a couple movies in between, but you had pretty much not been in the film industry, at least not on screen that I know of. No. Looking at your IMDb page, so did you step right back into it? What did it feel like coming back from being a child star to being an adult?
Well, so when I was about 13, I had been auditioning for 8 years of my childhood. So I was memorizing lines all week and sitting in the car after school to drive from New Jersey through the Lincoln Tunnel and bumper to bumper traffic for 4 or 5 hours there and back after school. I did that 3 times a week from third grade through 8th grade. I don't know. I got really sick of doing it. Basically, it just really wasn't fun anymore. Acting wasn't something that my family had any experience in, and they didn't recommend acting for me. It was actually my idea, because I saw a girl who lived down the street from me doing commercials, and I thought, that I wanted to do that. I wanted to be on TV. So my mother sacrificed a lot to drive me into New York City all those times. My father also, because it was fun for me for a long time. And then it wasn't fun anymore. Auditioning just wasn't enjoyable. And I didn't really like being famous, to tell you the truth, at that age. I wasn't really comfortable with being recognized and answering questions like that from strangers at the time. Now I practically make a living out of it with the conventions I do.
I was going to say, you're in the wrong line of work to be shy, because I know I guarantee there are people that are walking up and asking you, why did you carry the doll under that arm instead of the other arm? Type, they.
There's a lot of questions. Whether or not I had nightmares is obviously the number one question of my life. Which, to answer, no, of course I didn't, because the movie was fake. When the doll, when the director said cut, the doll stopped trying to kill me. So there was nothing to be afraid of. The fact that it was a horror movie had nothing to do with it. But yeah, so to answer, there's a long way around to answer you. But going back into it, I had done a couple films that people had offered me. I still enjoy acting. Acting is not the miserable part. Auditioning, especially as a career actor. When you didn't quite get to the point where you're just offered roles. But the roles that I was offered, which are mostly cheap indie kind of films, no budget, and I get offered them a lot, but most of them really right for me or aren't something that I'd want to do. But when I get one that is, I've enjoyed acting. So I've worked on a handful of projects, but that wasn't really the career that I wanted necessarily. So then fast forward to Curse of Chucky, which is my friendship with Don Mancini over the years led to him offering me the opportunity to bring my character Andy back after all those years. And yeah, that I was anxious about it. There's a lot of responsibility and pressure, especially because I don't act very often. But I was thrilled to do it. I mean, I really had fun. That was just one day that we shot out in Canada, and then 2 years later, getting Cult of Chucky, which actually had a bunch of lines, and actually gave me an opportunity to kind of revisit what I always thought of that character, which was someone who was their childhood was interrupted by tragedy and intense, fear that would be crippling to them and damaged Andy's ability to, trust anything in the world, and kind of left him a little broken and damaged, and so it was really fun to go back and do that, and I hope I get to do it more. We'll see.
Now, one more question before I turn you over to Brandon, who everybody, once again, he's just be audio only. From the chat room, Jason Wilkerson wants to know, do you still drink the weird concoction of Pepsi and vodka that you made for him at the Dead Winter Convention?
A lot of people think that's weird. I don't know why. I would usually say Coke before Pepsi, but I'd take Pepsi also. Yeah, half of every bartender that I order a vodka and Coke from thinks that that's strange. I like rum and Cokes too, and I guess a vodka and Sprite might be more appropriate, but I like vodka.
No,
and Coke.
I'm with you, dude. Jason, you're the weird one of the bunch. I thought maybe he'd put like lavender in it or something. Because that's what anything I order with although I learned to say with cola so that you don't offend the Coke or Pepsi people. Brandon, over to you.
Oh, well, since we're talking about that, like, I'll just jump right in here, because usually when I talk to folks before they make the trek down to Lexington, bourbon fan at all?
Huh?
Are you a bourbon fan at all?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
no offense to Kentucky. I just any kind of dark alcohol I struggle with. My spiced rum I can't do. Whiskey. I mean, and if I'm in the mood, I could take a couple shots or something. But no, I can't sit with a Jack and Coke or Kentucky bourbon and Coke. No, that would I'd get very, very sick.
Oh, the only thing I'm going to tell you is maybe you haven't tried the right kind. We're going to have to try and remedy that here this year or next year.
Maybe. I'll be out there, right? I'm coming to Scarefest this year. September. What are the dates? You guys know.
12th through the 15th of September.
12th through the 15th. Yeah, so if anyone wants to buy me a drink, I'd prefer a vodka and Coke, but I guess I'll give it a shot.
Well, I'll warm up with vodka and Coke then.
All right.
I always like to read like a bunch of articles and stuff like over the years, and I remember reading somewhere like, you're not the biggest horror fan, are you? Like, is that something that you are?
I enjoy horror movies. I just haven't seen all of them. I'm not. Maybe from being in a horror film when I was a kid, I don't get scared by them, and I think without that, without that in your childhood, at least, I think a lot of people that have a huge passion for horror films have it because it reminds them of being very scared by those films when they were kids, and I wasn't scared by those films when I was a kid. So it's interesting for me because I've been doing these horror conventions for the past 16 years or so, and I know all these people personally, and I haven't seen most of their films. So then I get to go back and watch these people that I know and have drank with and partied with and watch their film that made them popular to begin with. But no, yeah, I like horror films that can happen, like The Strangers or something, or like people real stalking and killing people more than supernatural stuff coming from a franchise with a doll that comes to life and kills people. I guess that's not the best endorsement, but for me, I'm more of a comedy fan and drama fan and television series and stuff like that.
Now, Alex, when was the last time that you were in Lexington? I was having a talk with somebody about that.
Maybe it must have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, I thought it was after Curse, but now you've not been back since Cult came.
I don't think it has. I think it was before Curse that I did Scarefest.
No, I've got to tell you, just I'll fanboy out for just a second. Like Cult of Chucky, like I was amazed by it. Like I all the other franchises that you see that have been around that long, like they just kind of fade out, or like they don't seem as interesting over time. But like when you came in at the end of Curse, like I got excited. Like and then when Cult came out, like that was amazing. Like I love that movie and everything about it.
Thank you.
Like bringing everybody back in, like and I don't know, like I'm waiting for my daughter to get old enough to where I can like not scare the shit out of her by letting her watch something.
Yeah.
Like, whether or not like you saw, like you weren't scared of it because you saw the animatronics, but like when we're about the same age, I think, and so when I watched it, it scared the shit out of me because I had like a study dolls.
Well, that's good. That's what we were going for.
But what you did.
By the way, I can see you. Can other people not see you? Because I could see you just fine.
Yeah, it's some weird thing in the studio tonight.
Don't think you're hidden over there.
Oh, I'm just glancing away. Well, hey.
Well, I appreciate that. I think Cult was a lot of fun. I know, when you take a franchise like this that people grew up with and they have their favorite film of it or their favorite part of it, or sometimes they don't want you to touch things or change things too much. But when you've been making a film, these films for 3 decades and you're going on the 7th film, I think Don has the right idea by changing it as much as we can almost every time, because you could go back and watch part 1 or part 2 again if you want, but we're trying to do something different with each one. And the whole multiple dolls part, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen it by now. But, for Andy, I think I enjoy the fact that the odds are stacked a little further in his favor now, because it's getting pretty easy for Andy to kill these dolls. So I like the way that they went with it. I really do. I think Cult was a lot of fun. I think it was the right balance of scary and funny and some really good kills, and probably the goriest one we've made so far. So yeah, I was really thrilled to be a part of it. And I hope that this television series is what's next, which is what we're still hoping for and counting on, expecting. Hopefully. We'll see. You never know in this business.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like I'd read somewhere too, like I think weren't they talking about doing a reboot like next year or something like that? But like I was really disappointed because this is the way I remember it anyway. It was like that Don Mancini and like the original cast, and they were going like a little bit of a different direction, which was like I don't know how I feel about that yet. I'm a big fan of Don Mancini too, and like he does great stuff. But like I heard somewhere they were thinking about doing a reboot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that has nothing to do with us. That's not anyone from our franchise. That's not.
So it's just totally separate, like
Brad. It's not a killer doll that was possessed by the spirit of a murderer. It's not Charles Lee Ray.
That's what I said when I heard it. Now, what took you? Okay, because I think you're in movies, a visual medium, obviously, but then top of your bio is you're now an audio engineer, and as anybody watching can see right behind you, you got more equipment than I do.
I got a lot. Can I give you a little tour? Let's see. I can give you a little tour. Hold on. I've had the studio for the past 4.5 years or so. I've recorded about 250 artists, all different genres. This is the control room. I went to Full Sail in Orlando for a year. I always sucked in high school, but I graduated top of my class while I was there because I enjoyed it. Hold on, it's going to get dark for a second. This is the live room. It's a really big space. We've worked with rock bands, metal bands, solo vocalists, acoustic guys and their guitars, and keyboard players, and violinists, and all kinds of shit. Honestly, it's been fun. It's been you know, I do enjoy acting, of course, but music is probably my favorite thing in the world. So, unfortunately, I spent my childhood. Well, I guess not. Unfortunately, that's not the right word. But I spent my childhood acting and memorizing lines, and I didn't spend enough time learning piano or guitar. So I'm decent at those instruments, but I pretty much suck. I'm not really good at it. So the next best thing was get really good at making other people who did spend their childhoods perfecting those instruments, getting a space to make them sound as good as possible. And I do make a little bit of my own music from scratch, and I've done some scoring projects. I have a little bit more of that coming up soon, actually. But I've scored a handful of things. I mean, I've done we shot a couple music videos here. I've done audio mixing for a couple different feature films and for some shorts. Just any kind of audio projects, voiceover, ADR stuff for a couple local films. Just anything with audio.
Now, okay, everybody playing the home game. If you want to look at his website, it's avproductionsonline.com. You can remember AV, Alex Vincent, which I want to say is very fortunate because that also stands for audio video, because you do some. So, boy, if your mom had named you Bob, this just wouldn't have worked out at all, would it?
No, it really worked out good. You notice that's what the logo is too. It's a heartbeat going into a wave file.
Oh, and Alex, I've got to say, I've never met anyone that wore a Nine Inch Nails shirt that I didn't like.
Well, thanks. I just got back from seeing them in the Palladium in Hollywood. It was my 70th Nine Inch Nails concert.
Oh gosh, I've been dying. I've been to a lot of concerts, and I've never seen Trent live in concert.
Oh man, they put on the best show ever. Yeah.
Favorite song?
My favorite song?
Yeah.
That's impossible to say. My favorite 3 albums are Pretty Hate Machine, The Downward Spiral, and The Fragile, of course. But it's too hard to say one song. Reptile, maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was always
terrible Lie. You know.
Definitely a good one. Like, I always rate songs by like how I can like listen to them over and over and not get sick of them after time.
Yeah.
And so like Hurt and Heresy, like love those
they're
songs.
both great ones.
I agree with you though. It's hard to pick one.
It is. And to test that, I've seen Trent play Hurt 70 times live.
Oh God.
So you don't really get sick of it, but
man, I've got to hunt you down. Like this year, I'm finding you one way or the other, and we've got to talk like national concerts.
All right, deal.
Now,
so
go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say the next thing that I'm doing with the studio is this podcast / live radio show. It's not really, it's different than what a lot of people are doing. First of all, you saw that live room that I have here, and I have a passion for music and of course a lifetime with horror. So having met all these different horror celebrities over the past 15 years, I thought it would be fun to interview some of them on a personal level. We'll talk about their career also, but I'm calling the show The Final Note because it is a combination of horror and music. I'm going to be interviewing horror icons and actors the first half of every episode, and the second half is going to be an artist showcase with a local and maybe eventually national act that wants to come in, discuss their music, and then go into the live room and perform a couple songs live on the show. So
I wanted to ask now, how soon is this launching?
I'm thinking the end of January. I could actually probably ask you guys a couple questions about the technical things that are holding me up. I have to figure out the best place to broadcast live. but also how to use my board and my computer as the audio for the program that I'm broadcasting into. You know, I was trying to mess with that today. It's even as an audio engineer, so that shit is kind of complicated. I just have to figure out how I can. First of all, if the program I'm running to will record the episodes on their own, so I can archive them on my YouTube channel. We're going to shoot some video stuff and put that up on a YouTube channel also. But that plus, I need to know if I need to splinter it off and record it in Pro Tools at the same time, and how to use every channel on my board, and maybe not all 32, but you know, a bunch of those mics all at once, so I can use that board as the audio source to get into the broadcaster. So got some shit to figure out, but that's
honestly that part not as hard as it sounds.
No, it's not. Okay, that's good to know. That's
good audio, good audio cable out of the board monitor into your computer. Psh.
Well, that I got figured out, but like I need to know what broadcaster I need to use. I was trying to use today called it's called Butt actually, like broadcast using this tool or something. But the source it wasn't recognizing the Pro Tools aggregate, or it's just all complicated shit that'll bore everybody listening. So we'll get back to that. But Christina,
the listeners know I go inside baseball on all kinds of stuff. It's what we do around here.
Yeah.
So okay.
Christina Lees McCarthy is going to be on my first episode. Who played my sister? Sorry, excuse me. Who played my sister in Child's Play 2? Christina Lees. She's going to be on the first episode. And a really super talented kid named AJD, who grew up with a family in music. His grandfather is Joey D from Joey D and the Starlighters, and he's been making music his whole life. And he's got a couple really great songs that he's going to perform on the first episode. And we got a bunch of people lined up. It's going to be fun.
I'll get with you after the show and give you some of my years of experience. But the two questions are you're going to record it and then release it as a podcast?
No, I want it to broadcast live.
You want it live? Okay.
I want it to be live. I want to be able to take callers and all that business.
Live sucks. Because that's what I do. I do live, but live is hard, as I tell everybody. Yeah. Live is hard, but no, I like the live format. I think it keeps me on my toes better. When I actually pre-record something, I get lazy. Yeah. I just
Right now, if you wanted to play a YouTube video or something, would the audio come through on this show clear?
Yes. I actually have it set up.
Your board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what software to use to live broadcast. I'll get with you on all that.
All right.
Be glad to share that with you.
Good. Thank you.
We've any final questions, Brandon? We've used up the time he allotted us, and I don't want to think we just drag this crap on all night.
No, you're fine.
Oh no, but I think everybody I've talked to, like, we're glad to have you back, man, and like I look forward to rapping with you about some Nine Inch Nails stuff. Like, that's got to happen.
It's one of my favorite topics, so that
I'll find you.
Yeah, cool.
So it looks like I'll be in the sports bar again. Brandon will be doing his thing.
Talk sports.
I just go there because it's like that's where all the drunks congregate. That's it. But
we could talk
Alex,
sports anytime. Also, what about that Saquon Barkley? He's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I live in this box, Alex. You got to understand. This is all I do now.
Not a good player. I got to be happy about that.
I watch horror movies and do this. That is my life now. That is pretty much the extent of my life. Once in a while, Brandon will take me out somewhere and let me actually shake hands with people. Otherwise, I'm a hermit. I'm an absolute hermit.
We keep him locked up like a gimp.
Chained up. Yeah.
But for the record, that saves a lot of harassment suits. So
keeping you productive.
Yeah, keeping me productive and tied up. Alex, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, and everybody, we're going to let him go now. And once again, AV Productions Online. Quick question now: when you get the podcast all ready to go, are you planning on broadcasting it from your website?
Yeah, I'll put this up here too. Well, I got to figure out where it's going to be. Shown first. That's the logo that I just had made. I got to figure out where it's going to be hosted still. But yes, not only my website, but I'll make a website for the show also.
Okay.
I'll be making it as easy as possible for everyone to tune in.
Well, we will try to get that word out there when you have that ready to go. But once again, everybody, that is avproductionsonline.com. That is his page for his audio engineering and recording studio.
Cool.
Follow him on Twitter.
Appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Follow him on Twitter, everybody. Yeah, that's easy. He's easy. He's not that hard to find. He's really not. Thanks again. We're going to.
But if you do follow my Twitter, just know that just because I hate Trump doesn't mean I hate you for voting for him.
Boy, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that around here in Kentucky. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So everybody, we're going to take our commercial break now. We are going to let Alex go. When we come back, we'll have a celebrity announcement for you. Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back after this message.
Thanks, Alex.
Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Find them every month at Lexington, Kentucky's Mystical Fair, mysticalfairlex.com, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being. Hi, Nicole, you're on camera.
Where's the camera?
We have Brandon's videos. We have children and probably dogs and cats and wives and everything. So
here. Oh yeah.
Just do the full screen. Because nothing worked prior to the show. Now we've got I'll have to do some test calls and figure out what was going on there. Okay, everybody, let's get the celebrity announcement knocked out. Here we go, everybody.
There's my wife in her pajamas. You can see the curly head of my daughter as she carries around what looks to be leaves.
With a child that you might want to check that.
Goose, what are you doing? Let's pray that's not poison ivy.
In this time of year, it's like not that terrible. Okay. Celebrity announcement, everybody. We have, coming to Scarefest, Mr. David Howard Thornton. David Howard Thornton. Terrifier is his big credit. That's the one I used for the background for the graphic anyway. You've seen him on Gotham. If you watch Nightwing Escalation on the internet, he was in season 3, I believe it was, as the Joker. So we have David Howard Thornton. Thornton. I guess it's silent. It's hard to say that. But anyway, coming to Scarefest 2019. So that's four celebrity announcements. If I've been keeping the math correctly.
All right. Let me tell folks something. If you have not seen Terrifier yet, because this is one of those movies that didn't get a huge release, but it's on Netflix, and I'm just going to tell you right now, it is top notch. Watch it, and you will not be disappointed. I promise. And this is actually like, once you watch it, you are going to want to meet this guy, talk to him, because he has done phenomenal work in that movie.
Now I'm just pissed off because I did my search today on Amazon Fire Stick for Terrifier, and all they wanted to do was rent it to me. And I've got Netflix installed on the Fire Stick, so therefore it should have found it for me. So you're saying it's on Netflix, and now I'm pissed.
It is on Netflix. And let me tell you something right now. I don't know that much about Fire Stick, but please, for the love of God, just a piece of advice for everybody. Don't buy anything on like Vudu or Amazon until you thoroughly check your Netflix account. I've wasted so much money.
Well, believe me, I go through. I have these services on mine. I just started searching for him, but I have these services. I go through like Bob's Horror Movies. I go through everything. So but we do have him coming, Mr. David Howard Thornton, not to be confused with David Allen Thornton, which is a person that I keep trying to Google every time I look him up. Now, congratulations on being so far ahead of the frickin' curve that Scarefest doesn't even recognize you. 4 celebrities before Christmas. Well,
No, like I'm trying to figure out like this delay on my end, and then like I've got my entire, like, well, not the entire family, but everybody has just decided to congregate in the office now, and so things are getting interesting.
And she grabs the dagger.
Nope. Scarlett is now holding my Lord Voldemort wand.
Oh, it's a stick.
And I can only imagine is getting ready to curse me.
Yes, she has his stick, everyone. She is running around.
She is, I mean, she's holding it the correct way, and she's trying to pick the door lock with it. All right. That's what happens around here.
Well, hey, don't give it to the dog. Just trying to help you out there, dude.
So Nicole is, I guess, our third co-host on Scarefest Radio tonight, since she is now taking up shop in the office.
I'm bored. I have no voice though.
She's gone full Janis Joplin.
Now, one thing, I'm going to give everybody plenty of time this time. Try to give this damn thing away, because I suck at giving stuff away for some reason. People, I give away 3-day passes on this show, like every other week, and you all will not even do the simple task that I give you, and yet they announce a ticket chase where you have to drive across Lexington for 45 minutes, and ooh, we're all in. So I'm a little disappointed with some of you. Anyway,
Ticket chase.
Priority Pass, Lights Under Louisville. We're going to give it away now to the first person that will go on the Scarefest Facebook page. And I pinned tonight's banner to the top of the page, so you can't miss it. But that's the Scarefest business page, facebook.com/thescarefest. But the business page, the event page, not the group. We're not doing it in the group tonight. We're doing it under the Child's Play banner with Mr. Alex Vincent. And I want someone to give him a plug. I want someone to type in the web link, avproductionsonline.com. avproductionsonline.com into the comments. The first person that I see gives him a link will win this pass. We will mail it to you tomorrow. avproductionsonline.com for Mr. Alex Vincent's website. So, Lights Under Louisville. It's a big. If you're not familiar with it, it's like this big cave. What they do, dig gravel out of there? I don't even know why they have a cave under Louisville. But now they put lights up, and you drive. It's not even like you have to walk. It's really, it's beautiful from what I hear. So if you're wanting to,
a large city on top of a cavern up here, I've heard anyway.
Well, that's just a terrible, terrible idea. Do you want sinkholes? Because that's how you get sinkholes. Anyways, So now I've scared everybody away from going. But anyway, I do want to shout out. This was donated to us, if you will, from iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio. We went to their banquet. We got this pass. We're giving away compliments to them. iHeartRadio, all of your favorite music radio podcast, all free. Search for Scarefest Radio if you don't mind listening to the audio version, and you can keep up on all the shows. But we are on iHeartRadio. So, I'm going to go back now. The reboot. I don't like the concept for the reboot of Child's Play. I'll be flat out there with you, because I don't. Everybody, and this is what they've released on it. He's not going to be a possessed doll. He is going to be the Terminator in coveralls. That's pretty much the way it's been explained to me. In other words, artificial intelligence gone awry.
I've not gotten that far into the woods on it personally. I've been a bad horror movie fan this year, and I'm trying to rectify it. But like I've come across like a little bit of it here and there, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the prospect of it. But I don't know. Like I'll give anything a shot. Like I gave Jason X a shot, and that one turned out to be something that I would watch a couple of times. But I'm not sure what they're going to do with this one. Especially with it kind of seems to incorporate Don Mancini from it. I think this dog just got a concussion from my computer.
Oh, I'm so glad we had that on camera.
Oh, it's a madhouse. Madhouse, I tell you.
You know what you need? You need that parrot back.
No, I don't think we need to go that far. No.
Oh, now we got this dog.
So,
okay, so this has nothing to do with Scarefest in any way, shape, or form. But so a lot of you guys, if you don't know, like me and my wife, we do social services. So I'm a social worker. You know, that's what I do. That's my 9 to 5. And I unfortunately had a gentleman that I work with, great guy, passed away this week, and I've ended up with his dog for a short amount of time. And the dog is a puppy, and we have somehow, I don't know, we've been trying to acclimate him to the zoo that we have here, along with all the children as well. So it's been an interesting dynamic here in the Griffith household for the last few days. And my wife has saw fit to shave the dog, which has just made things even more exciting.
And a wonderful job, I want to point out that she did.
And she probably used my trimmers to do it. So, yeah.
There's a lot of mats.
Hey.
Yeah.
Who am I to talk? I go through my dogs like twice a year and cut the dingleberries out, and that's about it.
Well, we tend to trade off animals here, and like you brought up Margarita, which was the bird we had. You know, when she was alive, like God rest her soul. You know, love the bird, but it was a little bit like a horror movie around here in and of itself, because the bird stalked me. It stalked me around the house. It would follow me. It would stare at me. On some occasions, attack me. But the most memorable event was I was going to the bathroom one day, and I heard some rustling. And it's one of those things like, is somebody in the house? Because nobody was there except me. And you hear that rustling behind you, and when you're peeing, it's, you know, you're fairly open to, like, it's a vulnerable moment. And so I look up, and this, like, the bird is crouched on the bathtub, like the shower rod, and it's just staring at me. Now, that's a scary moment. Birds bite. When you have a bird like staring at you in a very vulnerable position, you know, things take on a whole new meaning.
Well,
I'm just saying, it's scary when you have your bird out and there's a dangerous bird.
Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break, get our sponsors in here. We'll be right back.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more. He's making a list and he's checking it twice. But where does that leave you? You've got to come up with thoughtful and affordable gifts for friends, relatives, and coworkers. What to do, what to do. From Scarefest Radio, just click the Merry Christmas graphic in our sponsor links and you will find the kyhorse.com selection of practical and beautiful personalized leather belts, handmade in the bluegrass. It's a Kentucky tradition that fits every Christmas budget. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. Gail Joba, you win. I think she's won before, but I don't even keep track of it anymore. I'm just so happy people participate. That's just it. So anyway, Gail, I will get your address and we will mail you that ticket. Get it in the mail tomorrow so that you have time to enjoy it during the holiday season. Everybody, speaking of the holiday season, I'm sure Brandon would just love for you all to just buy the hell out of the gold and platinum passes that are available online at thescarefest.com. If you have someone that you have not figured out what to get them for Christmas, a 3-day pass, a 1-day pass, or upgrade it to gold or platinum, absolutely wonderful, wonderful gift idea for the horror fan in your life. So there. I think I got all the plugs out of the way.
You've done an excellent plug job. Yes.
So now, of course, now everybody, you heard me talk about it a little bit. Brandon and I went to the Louisville SuperCon a few weeks back, and the man was just absolutely giddy. He was so excited about doing these conventions, and then he came home and life slapped him in the face. So, do you still see any, before March, do you still see any horror conventions or Comic-Cons on your horizon? Or have you just said, screw this, I'm just going to sit it out till the weather breaks?
Oh, man, I tell you what. So Louisville Con, that was the first con I've been able to go to in a while, unfortunately. And it was something that was a huge part of my life. And like, I just haven't had time to do it. And so like going to the Louisville SuperCon, like that was pretty awesome. And so I got a little giddy. Yeah, it was fun to jump around, talk to people. I was amazed by the amount of like folks that came by and like had like Scarefest shirts on and like had the backpacks that we had given out for like the VIPs last year, and like just randomness. and that really, like, I got to talk to some of those guys, and like it was really exciting. Like that was, I really enjoyed that. Like that was on top of the normal like con experience. And plus I got to share a hotel room with Wes for the weekend. So I mean that's a win-win.
Yes, because I am so much fun to be around people. It's not common knowledge, but now what I think what impressed me, of course, the cosplay was what you would expect, except you know what? This kind of along the lines of what you're saying. Yeah, a lot of Scarefest t-shirts, etc. But, you know, I liked that, you know, there was a lot of horror-themed cosplay.
Well, a lot of it goes hand in hand. I mean, a lot of your, you know, there's folks that go to horror cons and that's all they do. But there's a huge section of folks that like go both because they go hand in hand for a lot of people. And so, like, when I think of Scarefest, like, I don't think of just like horror. I think of sci-fi and like all those things of kind of the macabre. And so like, I'll use this as an example. Remember the lady that did the cosplay for Lord Helmet from Spaceballs?
Yes, absolutely. I've already sent her a free pass because we enjoyed that costume so much.
My favorite cosplay of the entire weekend was I'm sitting there at the Scarefest booth and I look up and it was like one of those moments in like a movie where like the light shines down. It's like, and like cherubs are singing in the background. And I was like, holy shit, she's dressed up as Lord Helmet. And like coming from somebody that dresses up as a different Rick Moranis character every year, I was enthralled. And so I would encourage, like, you know, the folks that come out for cosplay, that's huge. And we're making a lot of changes this year for the costume contest and the cosplay. And we're going to post those here soon. And I think it's going to be great for everybody. But we want to encourage our cosplayers to come out. That was awesome. We have a great group of folks that do it every year. But, like, let's shake it up this year. Let's bring out some more people. Like, if you hear this and you've got an idea for cosplay, like, cons are fun no matter what you do, but they are much more fun if you come in cosplay. That's a fact.
I've always said that was one of my favorite things 4 or 5 years ago was the variety of cosplay and the effort put into the cosplay. And the kids are so damn cute when they do it. So what he's saying, people, we're looking for ideas that will not only for the Saturday night costume party, we're looking, tell us cosplayers, what do you expect out of a convention to get you to wear that hot, sweaty costume all damn day? That's what we want to know. We want to know what will get you in the doors at 10 or 11 o'clock, whatever time you show up, on Saturday, and sweat your balls off, or the ladies, whatever other part you want to, boob sweat. We'll do boob sweat for you ladies. The point is, what will make you come out in costume and hang with us at the Scarefest? What are your requirements? I think that's a good way to put it, in my own vernacular. And the owner goes silent. But
no, I'm just letting you go with that one. You're doing a good job.
Well, I mean, it is. Some of these costumes, I do realize, are a monumental effort. Because I mean, if you come as Batman, there you are. You're in a rubber suit all damn day. I get it. Of course, you know.
Well, no, okay. So it's like when, all right. So Rick Moranis' character in Ghostbusters, like that's my favorite cosplay of all time. And like I'm just a fat version of Rick Moranis. Like I've got that. I know my niche. That's where I fit. And so I like to take a plus size version of Rick Moranis characters and do cosplay. But point being is that like the year that I did the cosplay for Rick Moranis' Ghostbusters, like we worked on the helmet, and like if you can see it, this is the bad boy. I put, and Nicole put, a tremendous amount of time into this. I mean, she didn't do shit.
I did it all.
I did it all. No, you had limited. I worked out like the mechanics of it. You made it look pretty. Come on.
And I went to the store and picked it all out.
No, but think about it. Like, so this is something we spent quite a few hours on making. This is a helmet. And now, if you've ever seen the cosplayers that do this stuff, like even professionally, or that just come out to the show, like they put hours and hours into it. And like that much work, dude, my hat's off to anybody that does cosplay that really like puts their heart into it, because my hat's off to you. Much respect. And a lot of people do so much awesome stuff. And this year, I just want to say that like, as much as like we bring in celebrities and like we're really working on bringing in like more entertainment this year and beefing that up a little bit. Everybody that comes to a con loves to see the cosplayers. You guys, in your own right, anybody that just like buys a ticket and comes, like you guys are as much part of that show as anybody else. And my hat's off to you. You do an awesome job. I've never been disappointed by the cosplay at Scarefest.
Now it was sweet that the lady we spoke about that wore the Darth helmet or whatever it was called.
Lord Helmet with Jesus Christ, do not blasphemy Spaceballs in front of me. It's not allowed.
I didn't blast it. I love the movie, and I just didn't remember the character name. All I'm pointing out is this sweet lady. She says she's got to redo the costume. As impressed as you and I were with it, because she didn't win the contest. She got beat by Mary Poppins. She said it is on. It is on. So I dare say she's going to do some Bondo on her helmet. I don't know how you're going to improve that a whole lot. But anyway,
I don't know, but I'm biased. Like I'm going to take myself out of the voting, because if I see somebody like, if we decide that I'm going to vote this year, if anybody shows up as Barf or Lord Helmet, you've got my vote.
Well, there. I guess that leaves all the Harley Quinns to me. Because I've been such a fan of that costume in the past. I am bringing out, like I said, I've got a couple that I'm bringing out. And you know what? Bedazzled Jason is not out of the question. I'd have to make a new mask, because the original.
Hold on a second. At Louisville, were you not mistaken for John Constantine at least on a couple of occasions? Like, do I have that wrong?
No, but I'm wearing a freaking trench coat because they were threatening like monsoon type flooding. So I had a raincoat. Wear a raincoat. You're Constantine. Hey.
Well, I think this year, like personally, I think we should have like an entire subsection of cosplay. Like, come as your best West Forsyth, and like let's just see who can pull it off, and we'll have a totally separate costume contest for that.
There you go. Hawaiian shirt, and let your wife smack you in the eye, and you're golden. Now the beard though is rather unpredictable, everybody. Of course, right now I'm in the middle of my glorious winter beard. But if we start traveling again soon, I'll have to shave this bitch off, because I look like I belong on the Mountain Monsters. And
oh my God, yes, I don't know if I can handle you without a beard.
Well, I don't. Okay, you got to remember, everything is relative. Dude, when I say shave off, that means go down to like, what most men would call a week's worth of growth, which is me Tuesday afternoon.
I can handle that, but if you come at me with a clean shaven face, I'm screaming stranger danger and like running.
Here's a little trivia for you. I will not shave off my mustache. Do you know why?
Oh God! Why? Don't just shave down to just a mustache.
Because then I look like a bad an out of work '70s porn star.
Dude,
but
if we go to a con and you show up in just a trench coat and a mustache and a Hawaiian shirt, I'm running the other way.
No, well, the point of this story, everybody, was that if I actually shave, I never shave the whole beard. Sometimes it's a goatee, but anyway, if I actually shave off my mustache, I get sick every time. This thing is the best germ filter ever. Oh, Billy Crank says he's going to cosplay me, and I don't know, Billy. That will break your pattern of wearing all denim. So I don't know if that'll work or not.
Oh, I still have to give Billy Crank props on this one. So like one of the funniest jokes I've ever seen. Like I don't know what it is. Like it just kills me every time I see him do it. It's like when he's dressed up as Ernest, and like somebody comes up to him and like asks him that, he's like, "Ernest who?" Like, no, I'm just dressed. What are you talking about? And like people take him seriously. Billy, like I told you at Louisville, that is one. I don't know what it is, but I belly laugh at that every single time I see it.
And we're at the end of the show, but I do want now everybody. We haven't released the banner yet for next week's show. Well, we did, but we had to pull it back because guess who the guest is next week? We have David Howard Thornton coming on Scarefest Radio. David Howard Thornton is going to be our guest. And my God, I hope things work better than they do tonight. I got to figure out what Windows has done to my Skype. But anyway, so that'll be next week's episode. David Howard Thornton coming on. I understand he's quite the I want to say vocalist. That's a vocal stylist. He does voices, in other words. So
oh my God! Like no, guys, seriously, like you've got to watch the movie and look at some of his work. You're going to be amazed. Like I'm really excited about next week.
Well, I'm definitely going to run down the Terrifier, even if I had to pay for it. I was ready to rent the bitch, but and then I might even run down season 3 of Nightwing, just because I like being familiar. That it's so much better now that I know who the guests are a week ahead of time or a month ahead of time than back when it used to be Friday afternoon. I got to throw that out there. So everybody, that's what's coming up. We did have a winner on our past Gail Jabba. Mail that to you. I'll get I think I've already got her address actually. And don't forget to do your Christmas shopping at thescarefest.com. And also go to scarefestradio.com if you missed any of the shows. We have all the archives laid out. You can go to the Scarefest official YouTube channel and you can see all the live versions. You can go to, there's another one that's under my name, but it says Scarefest Radio Official or something like that. And it is the edited versions where I clean up the audio a little bit and get rid of some of the awkward silences. And of course, on the banner, it tells you all the neat places you can listen. We're on iTunes. We're on iHeartRadio. Thank you for the ticket, iHeartRadio. And even if people still use the thing, Spotify. We're on Spotify. It's just, you can't avoid us. You cannot avoid us. Everybody, looking forward to next week. This has been Scarefest Radio.